Just want to let you lot know that if you're watching this clip on the Fozcast YouTube channel, the full episode is now available to watch exclusively on Spotify, and it's free. Come on.
The Premier League is a destination league. Every player in the world wants to end up in the Premier League, so it's a really hard place to debut, and this club's a really hard place to establish yourself in the squad. So even after a debut, you not necessarily establish yourself in the squad, and there's a big gap between playing youth team football or under 21s football and playing in the Premier League. So we have to fill that gap somehow, and a loan is the most obvious way to do that. So it's a really important part of most players' journey. Dean Henderson would have had 5 loans before he debuted. And
I think goalkeepers will loan a lot more, won't they?
So I'm big on the closer you play to the goal, the more likelihood it is that you're going to have to go out on loan.
Yeah.
Because those slots managers are less likely to want to debut someone close to the goal. So
you need reliability at the back, basically.
And this is at either end of the goal.
Absolutely. So wide players and centre forwards probably are going to debut a little bit younger than centre halves and goalkeepers.
See, we get a rough deal, Nick.
Well, you do, yeah.
We
you
get
have to
a
wait
rough
longer,
deal.
right? But your careers go on that bit longer as well. So it evens out in the end. And even your best kind of central players probably debut out wide. Darren Fletcher debuted as a wide midfielder. Always knew that he wanted to be a central midfielder, but he debuted out wide. So it's just a bit safer to debut in those areas than it is here. So you tend to find those might be the ones that go on loan. But also there can be a number of other reasons about who's under contract above you that might be
a bit of politics or something like that.
You just can't get past someone, so we've got to put you out to bring you back. So this is where it becomes a little bit collaborative. So certain players might be already on the first team radar, and that's a bit of a combination of obviously the manager with some kind of final opinion on the timing of a loan. Me and Darren Fletcher trying to think about where the players are going to go on loan. A little bit younger before they hit the first team squad. That's a little bit more of a straightforward decision because we're not trying to think about whether he needs to support the needs of the first team. So that will be me. And then influential staff here, 21's coach Travis Binion, 18's coach Adam Lawrence, a loans program manager in Les Parry, so a dedicated team that are going to look after the boys once they're out on loan. So there's no kind of rigid process or familiar process that you go through to put a player out on loan. It will look different for everybody. Some players won't need one, others might need 4 or 5. Others are going on loan to prepare them for our first team. Some are going on loan to prepare them for a life away from here. What we've done in recent years is what we call the pro experience. So before boys are ready for a loan, imagine if you've been here since you were 9. You've played on the best pitches. You've had
shiny everything,
amazing kit. You've gone everywhere on nice car, and we try and make it as humble and as simple as possible, and deliberately pick. Can you put us on the crap coach rather than the good coach? We want to keep the kids reasonably kind of in touch with the real world while they're here. But if you've had 10 years of that, you don't actually know what the real world of football looks like. Sure. And you're definitely in your journey going to have to walk into a new dressing room, and that's a hard thing, first day at a new club. So when boys are kind of 17, 18 here, before they're ready for a loan, we'll send them off for a week to go and train with someone else's first team. So we've got loads of friendly clubs around the country, but we'll make them find their own way there. We'll make them go and do a week.
What sort of what are we talking about here? Like League 2, or it could be non-league, it could be anything.
What have we done? We've done Sheffield Wednesday, Forest Green, Preston, Barrow. We're looking for the right environments to put your young players. So that's probably more so on a loan, but you want to know, what does this young person need to improve upon? What environment might they need to improve that area of their game? So you're looking at a club's playing style, you're looking at their staff, you're looking at the league they're in and the trends of the league. So you might be putting players abroad rather than in this country, depending on what. So you're trying to find the perfect fit. But it doesn't always work like that, because actually trying to place a player on loan for the first time is really difficult, because managers don't necessarily want to give someone their first go. They'd rather give them the second or third go.
Sure.
So sometimes it's just we place a boy wherever we can, but we're striving for utopia, which is, can we find the right coaches, the right geographical location, the right playing style, But even then, it doesn't always go.
It's
to
so
plan.
tough
Managers get
because
sacked a week in. And,
managers want experience, but how are players supposed to get experience if they're not? If people aren't willing to give them their chance?
It might be that they go have that first one at a National League, a League
and then
Two,
slowly,
then a League One, a Champion.
Yeah.
But what does the care look like when they're at the club? So let's say they're at a League One club, for example. How do Man United keep their eye on the player? What does that look like?
So it's a careful balance, because part of the process of going on loan is standing on your own 2 feet and establishing yourself in someone else's culture, someone else's environment. So if we're all over it and we're trying to control every move, we're actually denying the player the opportunity to look after themselves, take ownership for their own development, and find a way of making that loan be successful. But it will also, if we just left them for a whole window without any communication or contact, that would be pretty negligent of us as well. So we're trying to get that balance. So Les Parry and his team will be watching games regularly and having reports, and we'll have all the footage back and the clips and the highlights, so our coaches back at base can be seeing the football side of things. There'll be regular calls to consider all the off-pitch stuff. Are you eating properly? What's your accommodation like? How are you getting on? It might simply just be...
Are they sorting all that? Or is a player sorting his own sort of, like, if he's staying in a hotel? Or because ideally you'd want them to like rent a place.
Yeah.
If it's a year's loan, for example, you'd want them to rent. You don't want them living out of a hotel, do you?
So our boys, when they go probably 18, 19, will help support them in that process of making sure that we've got them set up.
Yeah.
And it also depends on the infrastructure of the club that you're arriving to. So if you're going to... I don't know, if you're arriving to Sheffield Wednesday, it's a different experience to Cambridge United, for example. So, both wonderful clubs, by the way.
Barrow as well, wonderful club. I didn't mean to badmouth you, by the way.
Except now I've said Sheffield Wednesday, a wonderful club.
Times,
I've just lost a load of friends at Sheffield United, but you know what I'm on about. I don't want to. All these clubs are doing brilliant jobs with the resource that they've got. Our job is just to try and fill the gaps and support where not every club is blessed with the same resource we've got. So if we can just help with a little bit of support in terms of, I don't know, it might be some clubs won't have access to a gym. So we might be getting gym memberships so the player can do extra sessions in the afternoon. But that's part of the process as well. Boys going on loan, coming back, and like, go on. So when they do the pro experience, we get them to present to us, what were your findings? They're like, I cannot believe it. Like, we had to take a packed lunch and wash our own kit. No. It's like, that's the real world.
Imagine
it's like, that is how it goes. That's what the majority, that's what 90% of footballers in this country are doing. So it's brilliant that you've experienced it, because that could well be you at some point on your journey. Or, I don't know, players that they're training in school premises, or they're training at the local leisure centres. There's no gym and they've got to go to the gym up the road. All of that, for me, is about an education for our players about what the football landscape looks like, because we don't know where the boys' journey is going to take them. We need them to be really respectful and understanding of the realities of the football landscape, and we've got to prepare them really to be able to cope with whatever comes their way.
Thanks everybody for watching. We hope you enjoyed this clip of the Fozcast. If you would like to watch the full episode, it is now available exclusively on Spotify for free.